Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and potential life changers, but most importantly, my inner man family. Thank you for taking the time out just to press the link. No matter when or where you are listening, each second is appreciated wholeheartedly because you're not just a listener. You're part of a growing community and support system that understands the importance of mental health. This humble dude with melanin magnitude thanks you. Without further ado, I, Quentin Bain, invite you to another installment of the Inner Man Podcast. And we are live. Welcome to another episode of the Inner Man. We did it. This is a podcast dedicated to exploring mental health for men living in the fast-paced world of urban life. I'm your host once again, Quentin Bain. And today, we're diving into the topic of not being alone, but feeling lonely. Hear me out. Loneliness is a feeling that as a man, speaking for myself, I feel silly addressing until I myself was confronted face to face with my own. My own misunderstandings about how it affects my life. If not in a major way immediately, then definitely over time. Unfortunately, sometimes the feeling of loneliness is only just that, a feeling. So this is in continuation to the BMS series, for those who tuned into the first episode. So yeah, we got a couple more of these coming. So this one is going to be about loneliness. Now, don't get me wrong. It's not always. Matter of fact, let me get it off real quick. Let me hit you with the facts. Did you even know that loneliness and social isolation increases the risk of premature death? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. You isolating yourself, it's not a good time. It's not good all the time. I'll say have some form of moderation. One study also found, I think through Cambridge University, that individuals who were never visited by family or friends had a 39% increased risk of death compared to those with daily visits. Let that sink in. Matter of fact, I got one more. Let me hit you over the head with this one. Approximately 40% of men report feeling lonely at least once a week. Now, those that only feel that loneliness once a week, I want to talk to y'all. For real. Because one time, that's a luxury. For me. Now, I wouldn't say it's romantically lonely. It's more like because I don't currently understand 100% of myself, I feel like I'm on an island. And because with knowledge of self comes like a form of understanding to which lane you're going to be in life. And so that is, that pretty much dictates and lets you know what type of groups you're going to be in, what type of people you're going to attract, what type of fields you're going to be in. But like I said, it doesn't have to be romantic. It can just, even business, people can be they can feel like they're on an island because they're doing so well, Now, we're not talking about those people. We're talking about the people suffering from the BMS. We're talking about BMS here. Straight BMS. Straight broke man syndrome. All day. This is what we're talking about. But that's honestly it's a void. It's a void. It is a vacuum that consumes the more you feed into it, and it grows. but it's also not something you can avoid because it's going to happen at some point. You came in this world one way, alone, and you're going to come out the same way, alone. Unless you're like a conjoined twin. Thanks for thank you for being here if you are, but it's not likely you're a conjoined twin. Like, come on now. So for me, I was my fear from not wanting to be alone just came from, I guess it all comes back to mommy issues, doesn't it? When it comes to the guys, some way, somehow, like it always, some way comes back to mommy. And yeah, it does sometimes. I'll admit, I'll be a man about it. But acknowledgement is one thing, working on it is another. So, going back into the first episode, Kinlan's Law, if you've written down that, hey, I got abandonment issues or I got attachment issues, that's 50%. Now, application and working on it. You got to work on it. Back to the work, episode 1. I'm just saying, for those that listen, you can fast forward like probably 30 more seconds. But come on now. The work is the work. So I'm trying to be consistent for myself and for you guys because I know that not a lot of people are talking about this. And I'm only 25 right now. And I felt like I have went through a particle accelerator in a span of 6 years. Since COVID, like another big bang happened and things just started going stupid. Now, like they say many lives, many wives and stuff like that. But nah, the amount of money that I've touched between that time frame and now, it's nonsensical. So are the things that I did with it. A lot of it was spent because I didn't want to be alone. So being alone, not wanting to be alone, can also have its financial detriment because you're going to start paying for distractions if the distractions aren't already providing their services for you. Let's be real. Let's be real here. Because whenever you can be up, having a good time with your bread, stacking, got a little savings going, you get a little monkey wrench in the machine. You get a little oil slick in the road. Now, you can see it. You can see the oil slick from miles away. Now, you can either wait and be reactive or be proactive and just be like, nah, let me just avoid this altogether. Now, me, I was a habitual distraction taker. Looked for it, basked in it, loved it because whatever to get me off of the task. Because in the heart of the loneliness, there's sloth, there's laziness, the lust of life starts to lackluster. So, I mean, and so when those moments happen, the loneliness eats that. It's easier to just slip into a cycle of damn near rotting. You're just feeding your fears, you're feeding all the negative thoughts, the parasite thoughts, not the allies, the parasite thoughts. And it's like quicksand, it just eats all of it up, and you just continue to just sink into yourself. You continue to sink into yourself, and not in a good way. Not in a good way at all, because now that you have gotten to a point where you just get comfortable just lying in your filth, like I did. I wouldn't call it filth, but you know what I mean. Like, it's just like, I don't know, man. I don't feel like going outside today. I don't, I don't feel like doing this, and I don't feel like doing that. But then I get like burst of extroverted energy, and I'm like, all right, let me be around someone to avoid this feeling. And I thought that, hey, this is self-love. No, it was avoidance. It was avoidance. And I would say I'm elite at avoiding. Definitely elite at avoiding. It wasn't supposed to be like this, but I guess I didn't have adequate enough training or experience or knowledge of to where that was all I knew. Like, I didn't know how to really kill the snake. I only know how to run away or move around it, find an alternative route. But as I said in episode 1, if you figure out a way to avoid the problem, then you can definitely use that same amount of brain power to solve the problem. And it took a lot of trial and error for me, but that's life. We do it for everything else, so why not for ourselves? That's a good one. If we do it for everything else, why not for ourselves? Why not? We break our backs for our jobs, for people, relationships, any type of grind. So why not put in that grind for yourself? And it starts with facing the fear, facing that loneliness, being isolated in moderation. Or I would say, surround yourself with better people. There we go. You can do that. Definitely. I got to start doing that as well. But my problem is I can't. I won't say I can't. I choose not to be around people. Very sensitive to energy. Like, it's a very like, it's definitely a vibration thing, but I 100% am like, I'm definitely getting the vibe of everyone that I am around, because I don't know what type of being that I personally am. And by better people, I mean anyone that is aiding to your better good, your higher self. Now, as a habitual giver, enabler, I didn't know what state that I was in until I couldn't give anything else. And habitually, I would find myself in that low so often, to the point where I realized it was just eating at my quality of life. And I was always told by my bonus mom, Special K, if you're listening, love you. She was the one that let me know that oxygen first. Let's break that down. When you're on an airplane, right? They always tell, like, the parents of children to take in their own oxygen first. Like when the mask drops, all the maneuvers and all that jazz. But you need to get your oxygen first. Normally it's like, oh, let me save my child, But nah, like in this case, like you have to put yourself first. Because as bluntly as it was put to me, what use or what good can you do if you're unconscious? If you're incapacitated? Like, how can you help anybody if you're passed out? So I'm like, So it's very difficult, coming to means in terms with yourself when dealing with allowance and toleration and acceptance, complacency. But you don't have to stay there. Acknowledgement is literally half the battle. Come on, write it down. Kidlin's, baby. Kidlin's law. Do it. Write it down. Come on. What's the worst that can happen? You solve the problem? What's the worst that happens? Like you're no longer out of your rut. You got money now. You're cured of the BMS. I dare you to prove yourself wrong. And honestly, that's what I'm going to leave you guys here with today. Just my little tidbit. Just wanted to drop this off because I know I needed it. And I don't know who else out there is listening may needed it. So I do this for you. I do this for me. I do this for men's mental health. I do this for the culture. I do this for the Inner Man podcast. I'm Quinn Bain, your host. Thank you for joining me for another installment. Always make sure that you guys are liking and sharing and subscribing because please, this shit pays the bills. I'm trying. At least I'm trying for it to get to pay the bills. We're getting there. But Quinn Bain, Inner Man, see you next time.